Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 5. It is Friday, January 11th. I'm Caitlin Moynihan.
And I am Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And over there, we got Caitlin Gallup.
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
it's been a long time.
I love that you're here.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Do you know who else we love that's here? Christiani Pitts is here. One of the top 5 performances of the year of 2018, according to Broadway.com. We absolutely love Christiani Pitts and
her.
King Kong. You're going to chat with her.
I'm going to chat with her, but before we do that, we're going to do today's top 5.
All right, so the first thing we found out today is that one of our favorite Josh Harmon plays from 2018 is heading to the UK.
Absolutely. If you were lucky enough to catch admissions off Broadway last year, it was absolutely incredible. And it is headed to London, of course. And they just announced a star, Alex Kingston, who you might know from ER or Doctor Who. She's also been on stage in Macbeth, Louise Miller, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Lady from the Sea, and Othello. She is joining the production as Sherry. The show will begin on February 28th, and it will open officially on March 12th at London's Trafalgar Studios. Alex Kingston playing that role. Daniel Auken repeating he will be directing once again. If you did not see the show, let me give you a little bit of history about what it's about. It tells the story of Sherry Rosen Mason, who is the head of admissions department at the Hillcrest School. Fighting to diversify the student body, admissions is scheduled to play a limited engagement through May 25th. We love Joshua Harmon.
We got to go to London,
We love Alex Kingston. London is getting all of the fantastic things.
Yeah.
Make sure you go see this.
It's true. All right, and let us be glad and let us be grateful because Brittany Johnson made history last night in Wicked.
Yes.
I have been crying all day watching all of these bowing
we may or
moments.
may not have been listening to bootlegs.
We don't do
we
would never do that. We definitely did not look that up specifically.
No.
But yes, Brittany Johnson, who she became an ensemble member and a Glinda understudy in the summer 2018.
Yep.
And last night she went on as Glinda, becoming the first ever person of color to play Glinda on Broadway. I got chills.
Yes.
Like I'm literally about to cry just
Amazing.
thinking about it.
Amazing.
There have been people of color played all other main roles on Wicked except for Glinda, and so she made history last night.
You were in the audience last night.
And guess what?
Very
She's doing it
lucky.
again tonight. She
Yes.
tweeted about it. She's on again tonight.
Way to go.
So she covered for Katie Rose Clark, who is the current full-time Glinda, who's out for some reason or another. But the audiences last night and tonight are very lucky. Super excited to see.
Very special thing.
Very
Yes.
special thing. We love diversity and we love people being able to see themselves represented in their favorite Broadway
and also
shows.
to be in the theater, to be in the audience when someone has what is quite possibly like the biggest night of their life.
Oh yeah,
is a very
I'm
special
literally getting
experience.
teary-eyed again. And Jessica Vosk, just let her have her moment.
Absolutely.
It was wonderful. Go look at that's everywhere. You can watch the curtain call. That's totally fine.
Absolutely.
Watch it.
Do it. It's beautiful. All right, and then what do Little House on the Prairie and Fun Home have in common? Well, you can find out in this off-Broadway play.
Wow, look at that.
Wow,
What
that
a
was
lead-in.
a fun little puzzle.
Nassim Soleimanpour's show Nassim is playing at the Barrow Street Theater off Broadway, and this is the show where there is a rotating guest stars that come in. It's the show where they're given an envelope when they sit on stage. They open it up, and then they find out right then and there what they'll be doing that night. So many incredible stars have already participated in Nassim, and there are some new names announced. Melissa Gilbert, who you may know from Little House on the Prairie. No relation, by the way, between me and Melissa Gilbert, sadly.
I thought so.
Yes, no, sadly, no. Two-time Tony winner Michael Cerveris is also stepping into the production, and Katie Finneran. I love Katie Finneran. She's doing it as well. A full list of the guest stars and the dates to see the show are on the site right now. But go check out this play. He's the man that did White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, which is an incredible production. Nassim is the same. Great stars that you get to see on that stage. So go check it out.
All right, and we had an unfortunate casting change in 9 to 5 in the West End.
Ouch. We heard about this. So Louise Redknapp, who was supposed to play, who was she supposed to play? I should know this. But she was supposed to be in 9 to 5 in West End. Violet. She was in Violet. She was Violet in 9 to 5 in the West End, but we found out that she was going to be delaying her performances because she took a little tumble and hurt her wrist and hurt her chin.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they recommended that she took some time off to rest and recuperate.
heal.
Obviously, self-care is very important. Sometimes the show must not go on.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But it will go on still. We don't know who's going to replace her for the time being, but don't worry, because Louise is definitely going to be coming back. She will start more towards the end of March and early April instead. So you still will be able to see her and the celebrated 9 to 5 musical, obviously, Dolly Parton.
If and when you're given the chance to go see 9 to 5, you take it.
You take it.
You go see it.
You take it. So we're wishing her all the healing energy out there. But no matter what, you're in for a treat if you go see 9 to 5 in the West End.
All right, and last but not least, it is an exciting night at one of my favorite shows on Broadway. Kinky Boots is welcoming some new cast members.
They are. Okay, so Colin Francis, who was in the original West End staging of Kinky Boots. He also did the UK tour. He also did it in Australia. He is stepping onto the Broadway stage tonight in the role of Lola. And Andy Kelso is back. He, of course, played the role in 2014. I think he was in it through 2016. He did it for a long while. He is back in the show tonight as well. But also, New York Giants legend Tiki Barber is going to be, he's moved his date a little bit. He was originally supposed to start on January 18th. No,
21st.
Yes, he was originally supposed to be the 21st. Now he will start on January 18th.
He's ready.
He is ready.
He's ready to rock and roll.
He's ready to do it. So yes, go see Kinky Boots tonight with Callum and Andy, and then go back on the 18th to check out Tiki Barber. The description of Kinky Boots is here. If you don't know what Kinky Boots is already, if I have to,
what you been doing?
Know what Kinky, it's a Tony Award-winning musical. Go check out Kinky Boots at the Al Hirschfeld Theater. Exciting things.
For the final few months.
Absolutely. Go check it out. You only have so much more time to see Kinky Boots, so do yourself a favor and check it out.
Ryan, thank you so much.
Caitlin,
it's been a great week.
It is my pleasure.
Just the 2 days with us.
Everyone that's watching right now is here for Christiani Pitts, and so I'm going to do the service of turning this chair over to her. Have fun. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you all on Monday, but...
Thank you so much. Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about our guest?
I would love nothing more. She is one of our favorites here at Broadway.com. Christiani Pitts is currently playing the leading lady Anne Darrow in King Kong the Musical. She has previously appeared on Broadway in A Bronx Tale, and her regional credits include Rent, Aida, Big Fish, and Cabaret. Christiani has been seen on screen in Big Mama's House 3 and Like Father, Like Son. Follow her on social media at Christiani World on Instagram and Christiani Pitts on Twitter. If you leave all of your questions right here in the comments, we will get to as many as we can, and you should also watch her new vlog. And please welcome Christiani Pitts.
Yay! So much is happening.
So much.
You're
Holy
here.
moly.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You're in King Kong on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
How does that feel? Tell me everything that's happening over there.
Everything that you could imagine is happening over there. We are tumbling and turning and living and singing and dancing and acting. I mean, climbing. We're doing
lots of climbing.
Everything. I am literally living out a lifelong childhood dream, like a dream that I've had before I could even articulate sentences about what I wanted to do. I thought of something like this. So I'm living the dream.
And now you're here, and you're our vlogger. Yeah, we just announced earlier this week, Christiani's our new Broadway.com vlogger, Queen of New York. And if you haven't watched the music video for that, let me tell you, I want that jacket you're wearing in that music video. And it's such, like, it's a bop. I'm just saying.
It's my jam. It's like the first song proper of the show.
Yes.
So it really just sort of sets the tone for like, just sort of buckle your seats and get ready, because it's a ride. And the whole ride is like, ew. And like, that's really like the vibe of the show. And then you meet a gorilla.
Which I feel like, when I first heard Queen of New York, I was kind of surprised by the sound of it a little bit, because it didn't necessarily go with my idea of what King Kong was.
Right.
How does that feel to kind of be created and like giving people a new fresh vibe of what King Kong is?
It's really fun, and it's challenging because our world, the world of our play, is still in the 1930s. So it's such a fun sort of acting challenge to, be struggling in the Great Depression, and then all of a sudden this like beat kicks in, this bass kicks in. You know what I mean? But it's beautiful, because you sort of start to wonder what this person would be thinking if she heard that back in that time. You know what I mean? So there's like this sort of juxtaposition of period and culture of our time now that I get to do every night, that I'm having probably a little too much fun. to be honest.
No such thing as having too much fun on Broadway.
Too much fun. This is true. But it's awesome.
That's amazing. And so, you know, your main co-star is in fact like a 2,000-pound puppet.
It's pretty large.
What was it like when you first what was first meeting the puppet like and being able to, because you act to a puppet most of the show. What was that like the first time you met him?
It was really emotional, which I found shocking because I think I was unbelievably excited, but I was ready to sort of take it in like and be very practical about it. Like, this is my scene partner, you know, he's gonna be a puppet, so like it'll be cool, but it can't be that cool. And then the curtain goes up and I start weeping. There's a video of it. They literally set like a little camera up and got all of our reactions. And I had family ask me like, was that real or was that I said that was real. You've seen the show, so you know you can't really describe the majestic nature of his presence. But I started weeping because I just couldn't wrap my mind around what it was going to be like to act with something that was so much bigger than me, and not just physically, but like what he represents, what it took to create him is so much bigger than me. Yeah. So I was weeping. It was pretty embarrassing. I mean, we all were though.
I got a little teary. Like there was times I was like, leave him alone. No. Let him be. Just Kiko. And that speaks a lot to also, which is the King's Company, right?
Oh my goodness.
And can you tell us a little bit about them? What their vibe is?
Yeah, they are some of the most incredible, hardworking, beautiful, talented actors that I've ever met, and they are actors first. These people have learned this skill set for our production. A lot of people see the show, and because they make it look so easy, everyone's like, well, how long have they been puppeteering? And I'm like, oh, they just learned. They have transformed their bodies to become a sort of second part of Kong. So instead of being like puppeteers, they're almost like an extension of Kong's soul. So when Kong can express himself in a way that a human can understand, these people sort of come out of his body to sort of represent his inner monologue. It's trippy and it's beautiful. But these are actors and dancers who are incredible. And they're in the ensemble as well. So when they
just do everything.
Oh, they do everything. They literally do everything. So when they're not manipulating a 2,000-pound majestic puppet, they are people in the town. They're people on the ship. They're
and the choreography in this show is like insane as well. Sick. There's like, I feel like we just talked about like the set. Is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What was the rehearsal process like? Because seeing it go from rehearsal, like staging, and then like tech. Freezing the show, and now you guys have been open for
almost 2 months. Yeah,
I know. What's that journey been like for you?
Well, I cried a lot throughout this process, but Drew McConey is our director and our choreographer, and he is brilliant. Is like truly an understatement to describe what goes on in his mind. And the first time I watched one of the sequences in the prologue that he choreographed, I started crying. Because I haven't seen people tell stories like that with their bodies in a very long time. And it like overwhelmed me a little bit. But the rehearsal process was unlike anything else because our main character couldn't make it to the studio. He didn't show up.
He missed rehearsal?
He missed rehearsal. We had to go to him because he's that much of a diva. No, but he's huge. He couldn't leave. Yeah. So we would be in New 42, which are these gorgeous studios in Times Square, in the morning time. And then I would leave to go meet the King's Company there for the afternoon. And they do the same thing. They work with Kong in the morning and then meet us in the studio later to learn the show. So it was like two separate worlds happening. And then during tech, we finally got to meld them together and sort of create our show instead of these like two little mini productions that we had going on. It was insane.
And at least the times that I've gone to see the show, the first time you see King Kong, it's like a moment. Like people stood up. There was like cheering and applause. What has that fan reaction been for you as an actor? Because you're playing Indira. Do you feed off of it, or do you kind of just have to block it out? How do you roll with that?
I try my hardest to block it out because when you first meet Kong, I think that my life is over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's funny to hear like this thunderous applause, and you're like,
what about me?
Yo! he's about to eat me. You know what I mean? So I try to completely block it out. But I will say that when we have children in the audience, to hear their giggles and to hear their like excitement and their gasps, I get teary-eyed, because that's why we're doing theater. That reaction is why I do it anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my human co-star, Eric William Morris, he said a really good point as to why people should see the show. And he said, it's because you should see the show because it is why we do theater. Making something happen that you can't fathom come to life only in a space that can fit however many people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a shared experience of people bringing something so incredible and so odd to a small group of people every night. Like, it just, and for your mind to be blown.
Yeah.
Like,
it really is blown.
It's crazy.
It's what happens on stage in King Kong? It's just, you can't even properly explain.
You gotta
it,
come
really.
see it to believe it.
And there have been so many different versions of King Kong throughout the years. It's a very iconic storyline. What was your first experience with the King Kong story and plot?
My first time seeing it was the movie in 2005 with Jack Black and Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson directed.
Peter Jackson directed like the 5-hour-long one, right?
It's long.
Yeah, it's long. It's
but
long.
I loved
She's
it.
long. Yeah.
I love, like, it's so funny. People talk about it. They're like, girl, it's so long. And I was sitting down, like middle school or high school, however old I was, invested.
Really?
Because I love, like, action movies. And I love that in that version. Ann Darrow was like her whole bit before going on this trip was like comedy. So I loved watching her try to make this beast laugh to save her life. Like, I just thought it was fascinating. And so that was my first sort of time seeing the movie. But after booking this part, I have seen every King Kong anything. Like, read every book, I've seen it all now.
Seen it all now?
Oh, yeah.
And very much like Brittany and Wicked, you were the first non-white woman to be playing Ann Darrow.
Yeah.
How does that feel? We talked a little bit about it for our fall preview feature. You should definitely go read and watch.
That was fun.
That was fun.
So much fun.
But tell me more about that and, finding out that you were going to be playing this iconic character and what it means to you.
Just shout out to Brittany again, because that is insane. I mean, 15 years of people loving a show, like obsessing over a show. And now there are going to be people who obsess over it in a way that is, there's going to be an attachment to it that wasn't there before. That it's not going to be this like distant thing. It's something that they can do, and they can be the good witch. I think it's also not a coincidence that it hasn't been a person of color to play the good witch. You know what I mean? So I think it really is. That took my breath away when I saw that. So shout out to her. But,
shout out to Brittany.
Similar to that feeling of knowing that you're doing something that is going to sort of open up a door for somebody, or at least open up someone's mind to something that they didn't see themselves in before, is so powerful. And our show specifically is difficult because it's a fake show. You know what I mean? King Kong is not a real animal.
He's not a real monkey.
He's not real.
Spoiler alert.
Right. But there are some real dark and sort of harsh racial sort of tags that have been attached to this movie since the 1930s that some people are completely unaware of. But there are some people who it sort of haunts them, and they want to love the piece, but they're like, it's racist. It represents. So I'm honored to sort of be in this show and talk about that and sort of attack it in a way of we're not shying away from the fact that this piece may or may not have represented slavery.
Yeah.
We're not going to shy away from that, but what we are going to do is see what happens when you connect this black woman to this creature who she understands in a way that she can't even comprehend.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden it goes from being this like cool monster movie to like, you're like, oh, why does my heart hurt?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we had moments like that in rehearsal where we would talk about not just my relationship with Kong, but my relationship with the other leads in the show. I'm going to do this production with this white filmmaker. I'm going on a ship that is ran by a white captain. Like there are these different dynamics within the relationships that are so specific to the time. How are we telling that in a show that doesn't head on acknowledge it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really fascinating, and I think that the beauty of it is that there are some people who come and could care less that I am Black, you know what I mean? It doesn't register with them in that way, which is powerful, because that means that they are just simply able to enjoy a show.
Yeah.
But there are some people who see it and are moved by it and are connected to it in a way that they haven't been, and that is extremely important to me.
It's amazing. And I know we probably have a lot of fan questions.
So many good ones.
But I'm going to do one more.
Yes, please.
I just got to know, girl, how do you relax? What do you do?
We were just talking about this. Oh my goodness. So I love museums. That's
Okay.
like my thing.
Okay, good.
And I love going to the movies by myself.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Do y'all
can
do that
relate.
too? We do
Yes,
that all the
100%.
time.
Y'all, it's the best.
We go by
It's the
ourselves
best.
all the time and then talk about the shows that we saw by ourselves.
Yeah.
Just popcorn, like crunching.
Yes.
I don't have to talk to
alone.
anybody.
Girl, okay, so that's my thing,
Yeah.
right? But because anybody who's seen King Kong knows that I am keeping up with a mechanical giant.
Yes.
So I am stretching my body and my voice in ways that I didn't know I could. And I love that.
Yeah.
But it's caused my downtime to be down. Like I literally sleep.
I'm just going to take a nap right here.
Just a nap. So my downtime has literally become yoga because it relaxes me to the point where I can then get on the couch and go to sleep.
I love that.
So I'm a grandma
You got to
who
do you.
loves a good Bikram. You know what I mean? That's me. Grandma loves
Grandma
a
who
good
loves
class.
a good Bikram yoga class. I love that.
That's it.
It's going to be all over the headlines tomorrow.
Yes.
I love that. Well, what are the fans saying, Kate?
All right, so we have so many good questions and keep them coming. But earlier, let me find it. Shannon was asking, what was the audition process like in getting the role? And was there ever a moment where you were like, oh, I have it?
Oh my, absolutely not. Absolutely not that second one. But the audition process was crazy because I never worked with Kong, ever. I only did human to human scenes. So I felt okay about it, but I was like, I wonder how they're going to picture me with, right? So that sort of bit was out of my control. But I did know, I never felt capable of doing this part because I had just made my Broadway debut in Bronx Tale. I had just sort of I just sort of moved to the city. I didn't feel worthy. And because I'm a Black woman, I thought, okay, yeah, they're going to see me for it, but like, they're not going to see me. You know what I mean? I just put all these blockers on myself. So I never thought I was going to get it, ever. And when I did get the call, I asked my agent, my manager on the phone, and they said, you know, are you ready? I forget how they phrased it. I said, well, who am I going to be? I only auditioned for Anne, but I couldn't. I was like, who did I get? Like, excited.
Like,
to
no
be,
matter what.
No. I was so ready doing the show, but could not wrap my brain around that awesome character that I read in the script. So my reaction was like, yes, I get to be the monkey. I get to be the, you know what I mean? Like, I get to be king. Like, I was just so ready to be a part of the world and lost my actual mind when they said, and Darrow, girl, what you mean? The part that you
The only one you auditioned for, honey.
So, and I just, again, wept.
Cried.
Just stop.
Cried.
Christiani Pitts cannot stop crying.
Yeah. Oh, anyone who knows me, too, is like,
Yeah.
she's a
Feel that.
crybaby.
Send tissues.
Right.
Alexandra was wondering, did you love doing theater growing up, or how did it kind of enter your life?
That's a great question. I've loved it my whole life. I started singing in the church, and then my church did a show. We did the Christmas,
The manger.
Nativity
the
scene?
nativity scene. Sorry, Mom.
Love a cantata.
We did the nativity scene, and I was cow number 2.
A very important role in the
Yeah.
nativity story.
I don't know if you know, but like without cow number 2,
Where would
you know what I'm
Jesus be?
saying?
I don't know.
Jesus wouldn't have, no. in my mind,
I'm going to give it to
That
you
was it.
100%.
at like 5 years old, I was like, okay, cow number 2, hustle up, okay? Like, I took it
You
so
want me to
serious.
move? I'll move,
I'll
honey.
move.
Yeah.
Louder than they needed me to do, like, but that's when I got like the bug.
Yeah.
And I never stopped, and I sort of took every role, everything I did that serious.
Love that.
And so I knew like, okay, yeah, this is literally, I don't want to do anything else. Like, this is it. Count number 2 forever.
Forever.
Yes.
All right, Billy wants to know, he said, how did you get involved with Bronx Tale? I saw you as Jane back in March of last year, and you were amazing in that show.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you.
Christiani and Bronx Tale was also round of applause needed.
Yeah.
Thank you,
great.
guys. That was so much fun. It was, how did I get auditioning for it? Was that the?
Yeah, and how did you like get involved with it?
I auditioned for it a few months before it came to Broadway because they had done it in Paper Mill. And I was lucky enough that they had this spot open up for one of the girls in the ensemble. And I was giving it my all. And it's so funny, one of my final auditions, or actually my final audition, one of my best friends from college was auditioning with me. And the choreographer said, all right, for this scene, we want y'all to just have fun. Act like you're friends playing together outside. And we looked at each other and we were like, oh, girl, we got this. Like, we were like, you're joking.
Yeah.
So, and we ended up not getting necessarily paired together, but like our energy was there. And shout out to that friend because she is now in Charlie and Chocolate Factory tour.
Yes.
Her name is Tanisha Moore.
Yes.
She's legendary. Look her up.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that's how I got it because in
Wow.
that final callback, I was like, I was playing on. I took that direction to the
Very
full
seriously.
Very
Yeah,
seriously.
very seriously.
Exactly.
I love that.
And was lucky enough to then get to play Jane, which was incredible. But yeah, so my audition experience for that was fairly short. It was just about a few months.
Oh, cool.
All right, a couple more questions. Melissa is wondering, what advice do you have for aspiring performers? We get this one a lot.
Yes, I love, man. My advice is to never stop. Take yourself seriously, like the way I was just saying, but not to the point where you make yourself crazy. If you love it, you love it, and know that you're capable. Also know that opportunities in our business seem like they're handed to us, and that can be really hard to wrap your mind around. That someone's always giving you the work. I promise, start to make your own work. Write your own stuff, like write your own plays, your own musical, whatever it is, create your own stuff, because then you're going to get so swept up in your own world that you're not going to be putting as much pressure on yourself when you go in these audition rooms. And I promise you, that's when the job starts coming in, because there's a sense of relaxation and confidence that you have, because you know that no matter what that person thinks about me, I love myself. And I just wrote this bomb musical that I'm going to star in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you like
Yes.
walk in with this sort of like confidence that you can't make me or break me.
Yeah.
I would love this job, but if it doesn't go through, I'm creating my own work outside of this. So my advice would be to keep going, don't give up, and make your own stuff. When in doubt, make your own stuff.
Love that. Probably do one more.
Yeah, all right. Final question. Hayden was wondering, do you have any New Year's resolutions
Hey,
or...
sorry, keep going. I love
Okay.
Hayden if it's the one I think it is.
Possibly. Probably. Who knows? Hayden was wondering, do you have any New Year's resolutions or, I guess, themes that you want to keep in 2019?
Ooh, I stopped doing resolutions because I got so mad at myself when I
Yeah.
break them. But one of my things I want to put out in the universe this year is to just remain so open and present, because although I was overjoyed when I got King Kong, I do have to look at myself and say, why were you so quick to shut yourself out? You know, I was so quick to cast myself
Wow.
out. So this year I'm trying to remain as open and as positive and have more faith in myself than I ever have. And that's not to be overly confident. That just means to trust that if you continue to work hard, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And stop sort of thinking that I'm not enough for things. So 2019, I'm enough. Michelle Obama said in Becoming.
Come on. Yes.
Come on, bring it.
Great book.
Bring it home.
Everyone should read it.
Everyone should
Everyone
read it.
should read it.
But she has this page where she talks about people sort of telling her who she was supposed to be when she became first lady. Like,
Yeah.
this is the world that you're supposed to live in. And she was like, but that's just not me. I don't fit in that. And she realized that, like, if I don't make my own if I don't make a name for myself, or if I don't become my own self, I'm just waiting for people to tell me who they want me to be.
Wow.
And then you get trapped up and you're somebody that somebody told you to be.
Wow.
You're not yourself.
Yeah.
And I highlighted, folded, I said,
Took notes.
I literally was like, oh my goodness, if you do not make your own self, you're literally patiently waiting for somebody to project who they want you to be on you.
Yeah.
And that's not it. So
No, that's not it.
In the world of my FLOTUS, I say make your own self.
I love that. And on that note, everybody, please go over to see King Kong, see Christiani in it, see Kiko himself.
See
They're playing
Kiko,
out
see
the
this
Broadway
incredible
theater,
ensemble.
see the King's Company. It's incredible. I promise you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys for
I
having
had so
me.
much fun. Caitlin, could you take us out?
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You can listen to this interview and so many others if you search hashtag Live at 5 anywhere you get your podcast. And tune in to us on Monday as we are joined by the lovely Eden Espinoza, who is about to hit the road with falsettos.